What? How you all doing? I know it's only been a couple of days since I made a video talking about the PinePhone, the Linux-based smartphone. But in those last couple of days, things have been updated and things that I said didn't work, which has led me to the idea that after I finish my smartphone social media detox thing, which is at the end of this month, so in a couple of days' time, I will go from using a BlackBerry with like no apps on it, because I don't like T9 texting, and the dumb phone I had just didn't. I had a Nokia 105 feature, couldn't get a signal in the house at all. Grabbed one of these on the cheap, had a couple of apps on it, removed those, and it's literally just used for texts and calls. Yeah, when I'm done using this for the month, I'm going to try and use this. So, there you go. One of the first problems, you'll notice only half rendered in. That's supposed to be the lock screen. Rotate. Rotate. There you go. That's in. So, I'm actually glad I did that, because that's one of the first problems I was going to talk about. But in the last couple of days, I've had a few updates. I've flashed it a couple of times, tried different distros, and I've come back to when I bought the phone. It's the Postmarket OS Community Edition, and Postmarket's okay, but to really sink your teeth into it, you had to effectively recompile the operating system, and I can't be bothered to do that. Whereas there's ways to flash images and stuff that are kind of cleaner, more feature rich, and the fact that Manjaro Plasma Edition, I believe, is the one that the PinePhone guys said is going to ship. I went back to that. I put that on here. So when I made the video a couple of days ago, I said it's generally pretty good. I mean, I'm having an update or so a day. I haven't really installed that many apps, and I found a few bugs, but video said couldn't make calls. I could make texts, and I sent a text message in the video. I sent a text message to myself, and it went through, and that was fantastic. And I said I couldn't make calls. I tried to make a call to myself, and it just didn't work. I didn't show that in the video, but I said that it's to the effect that if I was lost in a jungle, screaming into a radio with very weak signal, that would be the result that other people got on the other end, like loads of static, loads of interference. You wouldn't really, sometimes you'd be able to hear things that I'm saying very faintly, very crackly and that, and most of the time you wouldn't. So really for calls it was unusable. It would connect calls, you could send them and receive them, but once you actually got into the call, not a thing. Well, after those few updates, I can now make calls. So my first proper text message on this phone went out to my mistress. My first proper call went out to my mate, who I thought for a laugh, I was just on the phone to him. I was, chatting away on my dumb phone. It's not really a dumb phone, is it? But, it's dumber than a smartphone, or dumber than a modern smartphone. Chatting away. And I had this on me because I was just dicking around with it. And I said, you know what, man, I would it be okay? Have you still got my old number? So would it be all right if could you call me so we can see if we can get a call to connect? Because I've run some updates have happened on it, and recently the phone didn't work. Can we try it? Anticipating that, in a bit of a trolly fashion, to be honest, he's wearing headphones and this squeezed like a madman when you try and it squeezed like a pig with a poker up his backside when you connected a call. I was like, I'm not going to subject my mistress to that. But my mate, that'd be funny at least. And if it works, that'll be great. And well, what do you know? He called and he said, "Oh yeah, mate, it's better phone quality, it's better call quality than what you had with this." So calls work, and texts work. So as a base phone, it works. Let's see. I've had a random glitch with Spacebar, which is the texting application on Plasma, in that if I set in a number as 07, whatever the rest of the number is, and then send a message to it, the person will get the message, but when they reply, it will come in as whatever the region code is. So like +447, whatever. So I'm in the UK, it'd be +44. That comes in as a second text string, or as an unrecognized phone number. So you have to add maybe both to the contacts, but it won't combine them into a single message. Not a huge thing. Also, sometimes I find that the top contact in contacts gets truncated, or like gets pushed underneath. So you'll see like there's the letter and then the person, and the person on the top one, their name would kind of get squished underneath the letter that they belong to. Just close the contacts app, and they'll be there to, you can then click them, or you can click them underneath the letter. So there's still enough poking out there to do that. So again, basic phone functionality, usable. I said that connecting this thing up to a telly didn't work. Using the little dongle, it just didn't work. It still doesn't work. Not for me. I mean, it does if I plug it in, depending on what television I plug it into. So if I plug it into my 4K, it just fails. If I plug it into the little 1080p monitor in front of me, that works better. But still, I have a knack of completely killing the desktop environment and then having to restart the phone. But it's there, kind of, maybe not. But being able to plug in a mouse and keyboard is also kind of nice, because you can add, so apps I find are broken. I don't care what anyone says. In my opinion, apps are broken. If you are comfortable in the terminal, goody, use your terminal-based stuff. But if it requires a GUI, there is nothing curated in the Manjaro ARM app store thing that says this is set up for a phone and for desktop, or it's just desktop, or just phone. It shouldn't be just phone, because it's yeah, be able to plug in. There's nothing to really separate stuff that's already functioning as on the phone, and I find that, for me at least, some of the stuff that I have tried doesn't scale into the phone screen. So sometimes, like, I'll have a menu kind of poking off somewhere around here off the edge of the screen, and it's not a lot of cop to me. So if you want to use terminal, gravy. If you want to use the convergency stuff, so you want to put it on your screen, if you get it to work, you use whatever app you want. They work fine. It just runs typical Manjaro army stuff. Although I would probably recommend disabling this screen when you plug it into a telly. A little pop-up box should appear to tell you what you want to do with the screen. So, like, do you want it to be mirrored? Do you want it to be just on this screen? Do you want it to? But for me, that window appears kind of halfway between the convergence desktop window and halfway over on here, and then the screen gets kind of split in half, and it kind of flickers like mad on one side, and just convergence just isn't the thing for me as yet. But soon, I imagine that's going to be fantastic, because, as I've said, like, being able to plug this thing into a telly with a mouse and keyboard, to have a full-blown Linux machine in your pocket and like running the same apps between the two is fantastic. Also notice it's kind of doing the whole flippy spinny thing as I'm kind of wiggling it about. But for apps, because I've found those can be a bit hit and miss, I recommend actually not installing applications unless you're more comfortable, like faffing around with things. If you just want to try it and get stuff working, so you're like, oh. So I tried to install a Mastodon client on here, and I would be able to get my auth code, and then when it came to putting it in, I couldn't paste it in for some reason. It just broke, so I had to type it in. Then when I typed it in, it failed, and I was like, this is turning into a bit of faff. I'll just use the web browser. If you can use the web browser to access a service, do it. Because in my opinion, that's like old school, like iPhone way. A lot of people tend to use like web-based stuff on their computers anyway. Oh, hello. Calendar. Nope. Just do that because it works. Like, it really does. Like, so on here, like I said, I tried Mastodon, and it was like, nah, mate, I'm not having that. I also tried a Signal client that kept crashing. I can't do Signal in the browser, but so just as a rando example, I've just opened up Angelfish, which is the browser, and there you go. I'm now in Mastodon, and you can save these to desktop. Which if you come down, where is it? So you come down here, hit there, and that'll say back, forward, whatever. Add to home screen. What add to home screen does is it will add the thing into your app tray and then break it. So for me, if I then go, so I've saved PixelFed and Mastodon on here because I was going to put them on the main screen so I could just hit them and go. Well, first off, Mastodon won't stay logged in, and when I try to type, it doesn't type. I can copy paste, but anything after the first letter or two just won't go into the on-screen keyboard. Just breaks. If you plug a keyboard in, works fine. But so the saved website app dealios for me at this point don't work. But like I say, if you want to use the browser, just use the browser. I've got PixelFed, so that I'll let PixelFed come out. And you're going to say, well, that's a white screen, guys. It isn't. It's a troll. Because I've also tried the camera, and this white box is one of the first photographs I took with the front-facing camera, which kind of works on the phone. The rear one doesn't on the Manjaro install. I mean, it might do. I just haven't got it to work. I was outside and it was not happy. It just overexposed everything. So it's just a white image. And then the second image I took, you can kind of faintly see my beard in the image there. That's all it managed to get. Very briefly managed to snap. On inside, it's not too bad. Everything's got a green cast to it, but front camera kind of works. As I say, you can use webby apps too. So if you want to like use Facebook and stuff, like, because I know loads of people who do that. Like, oh, I don't want to install the Facebook app or whatever on my phone, or I don't want to install Mastodon on my phone or Twitter or whatever. I'll just go to the Twitter mobile website. Just do that, and you could literally use this as a daily from that. I've watched videos on here. They work fine, although sometimes a bit wibbly, but I mean, it works. The phone book works. The texts work. I haven't tried MMS yet. Phone calls work. Just the things. It's usable. It's serviceable. If something goes wrong, as I did at the start, just literally tilt it. So if, like, say, a bit of UI sticks, just tilt it. Sometimes that resets it. If not, then just lock the phone, and then open it back up. And now it's going to be a dick and not open up. There you go. And then open it up. And that can sometimes fix things. If that doesn't work, then literally just turn the phone off and turn it back on again. But it's actually, I would say this is usable for a daily, which is why I say I want to try it for next month. Now that I've found that phone calls work, and I do actually spend a fair bit of time on the phone, I think I might actually be able to get away with this and use a bit more social media-y stuff if I want to over say the BlackBerry, because I mean I could use the web on this, but it's an outdated browser. More up to date web browser can do more magic jiggery pokery. Yeah, it's neat. I mean, if you use Telegram's on here. Whether I've got a memory card coming through tomorrow, so I'm going to try the music player. So I'll probably connect. I haven't actually tried the Bluetooth yet, but someone has told me that Bluetooth works. Bluetooth is fine. I imagine the voice recorder is fine. For the most part, a lot of this stuff works fine. I really wish. Oh, and if you install something and an icon doesn't appear, like so, for example, here there's an empty thing there. Just restart the phone. I mean, there's other things you can do, but the easiest thing you can do is just turn off the phone and turn it back on again, and then the icons will populate. Although it annoys me that once I add a web majig, I can't just hit a button and remove it. I can't actually remember the groove to do that, to be completely honest with you. How to actually pull it from my oh, actually, I won't know, because I think if I just open that, so if I go pixel fed, will that give me the option if I go to the tab at the bottom? And will I be able to show you? No, I'll do it in the Mastodon one in a second, but I'll show you that it won't let me. I didn't think of that. Actually, I can just drag up from the bottom to do that. Nope. Let's right. I'm gonna go to Arthur's post. I'll hit the commenting thing, and now on my luck, now it's gonna work, isn't it? So there's a comment box there, and if I just type in hello, the box is empty. It just doesn't work. I was actually wondering that if I opened it up, would I be able to get the little menu thing to hit remove? I can't remember if that's how I did it on the desktop. There's other ways you can do it, but for the life of me, I can't remember how to do it, and it just annoys me that they're there and broken. But so, certain things are still quite wobbly. Some things just crash for the lols. If you need to get your keyboard out of the way, right, go to the top. Just go to the top and just drag down, and that'll refresh your little bars at the bottom. Oh, there you go. Just pull it down and close it. So, and I also find that the desktop stuff it's not consistent. Okay, it's not persistent either. So I've set this up to have phone, spacebar, phone book, and angelfish on the bottom. I've also put up a search and launch bar widget at the top, and a clock widget on the screen. And just sometimes, let's have a look. If I do it now, no, on my luck, this will probably it'll just hold it. But every now and then, I find that my home screen just resets. So it doesn't hold. It'll go back to the default 3 icons, which I think are phone, contacts, and angelfish. And it'll just bin off the fact that I had like spacebar on there. It'll bin off the fact that I had the clock on there and the search bar. But these little niggles are to be expected. As I say, there's the whole issue with some software just not scaling for phones. That's expected. But if you are willing to use web apps, right, and you just want to use phone texts, this will work fine as a daily driver, in my opinion. So if you've ever had to do that like a de-googled phone, or if you're a Linux user that's wanted to use certain stuff and it's like, oh, there's no actual app for that, but you can still access it in a browser, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Just think old school iPhone days, and you're pretty much good to go. Because that's how old school iPhone used to be. Oh, there you go. It's saved it. So it has. For this time round, it's okay. Just in the past, it has said to me, like these will just disappear. To add widgets, by the way, you just press and hold on the screen. It'll come up at the bottom. Add widgets or configure wallpaper. You add a widget, and it'll come up with all your little jiggery pokery stuff down at the bottom. Sometimes like things just lag out and don't function. So again, as I say, just give it the old rotate, or swipe down in that case. But if, like I say, if some stuff just gets stuck, just rotate it and go for it. But I think this will be doable. If I were to use this as a daily driver, this is doable. This is serviceable. And I suppose if you actually save contacts and stuff with stuff like Nextcloud, so if you have your own Nextcloud instance, even if you were to wipe the phone, you could just log into Nextcloud and sync doobies over there. Like I don't know, what do you sync with Nextcloud? Photos and some files and all that. Just you can do it on that. Yeah, I'd say that's reasonable. Going around in circles again, that's reasonably usable. I just wanted to mention that versus the last video, over the last couple of days, literally features that didn't work for me now do, and that in regards to the convergence screen connecty thing, it just seems to give me I have hit and miss results depending on what screen I hook up to. I imagine that will be fixed. It's all going to be fixed in time. And I've seen videos literally of these things like 2 months ago. I mean, I used this 6 months ago plus, and it was... but this... much more usable, and literally within the last few days, way more usable than it was. So if you are thinking of getting a PinePhone, by the way, they've just come back on sale as of time of recording, which is, I don't actually know, what day is it today? Oh look, there you go, it's on that thing with the rendery thing. There you go. Boop. There you go. 25th of March. You can go to pine64. whatever. Just look it up. Just go to the Pine64 website. The phones are now back on sale. So if you want to try one, they're about $150. You can get the one with the dock and the extra storage. I think the base model goes with 16 gigs of storage, 2 gigs of RAM. Any of the convergence ones, which are the ones that comes with the dock, they're about $200. And yeah, $200 come with dock, 32 gigs of storage, 3 gigs of RAM. And they are there to pre-order now if you would like to try one. If you would like to try something different, if you would like a tinkerer's phone or a phone that you could literally have a full-blown Linux distro on your phone, connect it up to your computer, go ham on it, and just, you know, I mean, I'd be psyched to be able to have IRC on here and then hook it up to hook it up to a screen and with a mouse and keyboard and you know, I'm doing stuff on my phone. Get home, plug it into a screen through a little dock that's on my desk, and bam, I'll just start typing away and continue doing what I'm doing, but on a big boy screen as if it was an actual... That is amazing to me. I know that other companies are doing stuff that's, you know, a bit more matured now in terms of like Samsung DeX and stuff like that, but as I said in my video yesterday, one of the things that appeals to me about Linux is the Linux and that kind of stuff over other things is that I don't have to be part of the big cathedral, the building that I have to be cut from a certain type of cloth to be able to get in and see the code and do. This is a bunch of crazies getting together, seeing what works, sticking it together, and job the done. We have a serviceable product. And for $150 to $200, pretty good. Pretty good, in my opinion. So, starting the 1st, and I know it's going to seem like a dodgy April Fool's joke, I'm going to use this for a month as my main phone, and we'll see how it goes. I will probably break it a load of times because I'm good at that, and I'll restore it, and we'll see where it goes in a month. As I say, we're getting regular updates, and I don't really have a huge amount to complain about, really. I mean, I did have this thing where the splash screen this morning broke. Like, it was just gone. it just completely crashed. I had to turn the phone off. Because it had like an error message across the screen to tell me to type something else. I can't even read the message because the rotate wasn't even working or whatever. Occasionally the Wi-Fi disconnects. Occasionally the cellular would disconnect. But I don't know if that was fixed in the recent update because I haven't really paid much attention to it. But yeah, it's getting there. So it's not quite prime time because obviously you haven't got all the apps you're going to want. But if you don't mind using, I'll say it again, web apps, phones, and texts, like your phone and texts and web apps to or websites to get to your Twitters, your Facebooks, your Mastodons, your Pixel Feds. It's doable. It's totally doable. So maybe now's the time to kind of get one and dick about. And it's a nice feeling phone. The fact that you can take the back off, change the battery. Battery life's a bit at the moment, but you know, you can just crack open the back. I've just turned the power off, so don't panic. You can just crack the back off and just change the battery. And you've got your privacy dip switches. You can actually even take this entire back shielding off. Here, there's a bunch of screws around the side of the case. Take this off. This module is removable and upgradable, so you can go from, I think, 32. I think they've got a 128 gig module that you can put in. You can replace the camera. So if you break the camera, you can literally buy the board for that. You can even buy the shielding bit here that you're taking out. You can buy a replacement for that. You can buy a replacement for this. You can buy replacement screens. So realistically, as far as keeping this thing going, as long as the Pine guys are like, yeah, mate, it's all right. This will last for moons and moons and moons. You could literally buy a box of spare parts now, and if anything goes wrong, just fix it up yourself. You've got your privacy dip switches up here. By this little labely bit here, and that tells you what these dip switches do. You have to get like a pin or whatever to adjust them, but I mean, if you're that desperate to turn off your cellular modem, you ain't going to be bothered about cracking it open and poking it with like a set keys or whatever. I want to disable my camera so no one can spy on me whilst I'm watching my prawn. You'll go out of your way to do it. So, yeah, it's neat. I like it. And apparently, just one last thing. These pins up the top here, these, rumor has it, I don't know how true it is because I've heard a few people say it now. Rumor has it they're going to make a sliding keyboard for this. So it'll snap onto the back, a la regular case, fit onto these pogo pins, and you're going to be able to go click, push down, and you'll have a keyboard. So you'll be able to have it like sideways round and have a keyboard come off the bottom like the old HTC Titans and stuff. That's fucking rad, mate. Like, that'd be a terminal beast. That'd be an old PDA beast. But we'll see. Oh, did I mention audio switching? If you plug in headphones, the audio switch is automatic, which is kind of neat. Yes, it's, in my opinion, if I can get if the music player works for me, dude, like I already put a memory card in there, but I haven't got it formatted correctly. I've got a bunch of OGs that I was using on an MP3 player for this get off your smartphone challenge stuff. If they play through fine, dude, I could live with this totally. And I think if I can, I think a lot of other people could too. It's just how much you're going to gripe about the little things that go wrong. So I didn't expect to spend half an hour chatting about this, but I really like this phone. I would grab another one if I had to be honest with you. Just because it works. It's nice. I see a future in this. And then you've got the Purism Librem 5, which is the Purism kind of equivalent to this, and that's got hardware switches. It's a big old thick boy with a removable battery and stuff like that, but it's running largely the same software, although it's running Pure OS, I believe. But I mean, you can run Pure OS on this. So far, the consensus is that actually the PinePhone, the cheaper device, is actually more usable than the Librem device. So, and Purism have said that they will support the Librem effectively forever. Whilst there are users, because it's Linux based, whilst there's users, it's going to be supported. I've just gone fucking put the case back on and put the battery in it. But if you're into privacy phones, if you want to try something different other than iOS and Android, don't mind dicking about, don't mind breaking, just go for it. I think this is worth it. I'm going to grab myself a Pinesul when they come back in stock, beginning of next month, which is the Pine USB-C soldering iron, because I could deal with a new portable soldering iron, and maybe a PineBook Pro at some point. So an ARM-powered laptop. Why not? I like this. I like this company now. They're making some pretty cool stuff. I like the phone. So wish me luck for the month-long PinePhone thing. We've nearly finished our mostly social media detox. I can use social media from at my PC realistically. It's good. So I hope you're well, and I'll see you all with a bit of luck in the next one.